guys, Melissa here with TCT Crafts, and welcome. This week we are going to be making just an adorable, super cute, I'm super excited about this one, Bunny Butt Easter wreath. Look how stunning this design turned out. I just am so in love. So we are going to be working on this one today. I hope you guys enjoy this tutorial. If you haven't subscribed, please go do so and click the little bell. It'll let you know every time we have a new video. So let's get started. Hi guys, Melissa here at TCT Crafts. Today we are going to make a super cute Easter wreath. So this will be our first Easter Deco Mesh wreath. We made a grapevine wreath, but now we're going to make a Easter Deco Mesh wreath. And so we are going to be using this 20-inch artificial pine wreath base. So this is a 20. A lot of times I'll use a 20 or a 24. This week we're using a 20. So I'm just going to take and just kind of fluff these branches up, because when you get it, when you order these, they usually come flat and smashed because they're squished in a box with about 40 other wreath bases. So I'm just going to fluff out these branches. Doesn't have to be perfect. We're going to be putting mesh in it, but just kind of getting them where they're standing at attention, make it easier to twist the mesh into. And this one does have an inner ring and an outer ring. So it is a 2-ring wreath base. It has an outer ring and then an inner ring. So when we put our mesh in, I'm going to start on the outside ring. And I'm going to put my mesh in on the outside first, and then we'll come to the inside and add just a few. We're not going to add too many to the inside because the star of our show this week is quite large. And he's going to take up a lot of real estate. Okay, so I have my wreath base fluffed out. I'm going to set it to the side and let's cut up some mesh. So this is how I cut up my mesh. I drop it to the floor, hold it up to my chin and cut. I don't measure. So we're going to cut, I don't know, 6 or 7 of these of each color, and then we can cut more if we need to. This is a smaller wreath base, so we may not need as many. So that's 1, 2, 3. Let's start with 6 each. And we can cut more. And that one just rolled right off the table, so I'll have to get it in a second. We're going to be using 3 different colors. I'm using all 10-inch mesh. So now we're going to go in and cut up some pink. Let's do 6. And if we need more, we'll cut more. Okay. And then I'm just going to use just a natural. This is a good filler all year round, just to add in a natural color. You're not going to see this mesh by the time we get through with our design. We're going to add lots of florals and sprays in there, but this natural color can go with any season as a good filler. Do one more. Okay, let's stop there, and if we need more, we'll cut more. Let me set this over here. I'm going to pick up that one that fell on the floor. Okay. I keep saying I'm going to bring my basket up here, and I keep forgetting, so I need to remember to do that. Okay, so I'm going to start on the outside. This is how I roll my mesh. I hold it up to my chest and I just scrunch it. I'm gonna go around the outside and just tie those in nice and tightly. It's going with the pink. I'm gonna roll the ends in and scrunch it together. Now I'm not worried about putting these super close to each other. We're gonna have lots of stuff going in here, so they're next to each other, but they're not like overlapping. So now let's go in with our natural color. And if you want to roll the mesh on your table, instead of doing it on your chest, you can just roll the end a couple times, scrunch, and then I roll the end again and pull it together. Now you have a little butterfly, a little ruffle. So that's another way to do it. I just do it on my chest, but I didn't start that way. I started doing it on the table until I felt more confident. I'm just gonna alternate colors. So this design is gonna be pretty much pink and white with just a touch of black. And the reason I'm adding a touch of black is because on our little bunny butt that we're going to be using, he's got some black and white on his feet and his ears. So I just brought in just a little bit of black. Give it a little pop. But primarily pink and white is going to be the colors for this design. That's the color of florals I brought along with some greenery. So I'm just going all the way around, or still on the outside. Let's get a pink. And I am using, all of this is poly jute, so it's a little bit thicker, but you can use any mesh that you have on hand. It can even be the value mesh. When you're using these artificial pine wreath bases, that's the perfect time to use your value mesh. Because of all the thick pines, it really doesn't matter, because the thick pines give you the thickness that you need. If you're using like a Dollar Tree metal wreath base, or you're using a wreath work form, there's larger gaps. You don't have all this pine to give it that thickness. So for that, I recommend using the thicker mesh like this poly jute. But when you're working with artificial pine, you can definitely get away with using the cheaper value mesh because you've got all these pines that's giving it that thickness that we need. We're still on the outside. We are almost done. And I think we probably cut the perfect amount. Let me re-roll this one just a little bit. Okay. We might even have a couple too many. So six of each is plenty when using the 20-inch. If you use a 24-inch, you might need 7 of each. But for this size, 6 cuts. So we have plenty of mesh left to do, you know, 1, maybe even 2 more wreaths. because we're only using just a little from each roll. Okay, we've gone all the way around the outside. And now I'm going to add just a couple on the inside because our little bunny butt is going to be sitting right down in here, and I don't want too much mesh making him pop up. I want him to be able to actually let's hold off. Let's hold off on putting the mesh on the inside until after we get the bunny in, and if there's any spots that looks like we need some, I'm just going to push all these pine ties down so that he's got a nice flat spot to sit. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So here's our cute little bunny butt. And he's going to be sitting in here like this. And I think I kind of want to have him jumping in like from the side. So he's going to be slanted just a little bit. And if we added all this mesh, he'd be sticking up. And we want him kind of tucked down in there, right? So let's go ahead and I'm going to let me untie these. I'm going to pull them to the side because we're going to tie them in. So these came with wires already on it, but if you see something at the store that doesn't already have the wires, you can just take your scissors, do a quick little snip, and you can add a wire through there. You might not even need the scissors. Sometimes you can just poke it straight through there. So again, my bunny's going to be coming, he's kind of jumping in from the side just a little bit. He's not straight, he's kind of tilted. And I'm going to take these and tie these around that inner ring. I'm going through the mesh on this one. Him where I want him. And I'm just twisting that tie around the back. Get the other one tied in. And before I do the other side, we'll make sure he is in there how we like him, in case I need to move him. Okay, I think he's in there like I like him, so I'm gonna go ahead and do this side. And again, I'm just tying I'm poking those through the mesh and tying it around that inner wire frame. We'll add a little bit of glue to him too. He's not going to go anywhere. He is tied in there good. Okay, let me find the other one. And this one actually came out. Let me see if I can find where it is. I'm just going to poke it. It's poking pretty easy. So let's just poke it. Well, I said that. It did go in and then it came out. Now it doesn't want to go back in again. Let me see if I can just poke it. There we go. Okay, I just poked it through there. Didn't even have to use my scissors. Twist this, and then we're going to flip him over and I'm going to cut those ties down. You don't want it poking our door or your customer's door. Okay, so I'm going to flip it over And I've tied these around the ring. I'm just going to cut it down and push it down into that pine. Make sure it's nice and tied good. Just give it a little snip and tuck it right down into that pine. And my little bunny butt has a little tag. I'm going to go ahead and cut that off just so you don't see that there. Okay. Let's get this one. Okay. We have our little bunny butt in there. He's off to the side just ever so slightly. Okay. Now I'm going to give him just a little bit of glue as well. Just going to glue some of this, push that mesh up against our little bunny. And like here's a spot, there's a little bit of a gap right here that could use another piece of mesh. So I'm just going to take this pink one that we have. We're just going to tuck that down in there. Perfect. So now I'm going to add a little bit of glue. Push that mesh down in there. Let's check. Here's another little spot. So this is where I was saying we can add some mesh after we get him in there because we wanted him to sit down, but now there's a few little spots that could use another piece of mesh. So I'm just going to fill in now before we start adding our florals. We've got a little spot right here. Perfect. Now I'm going to add some glue. Push that mesh up in there. And let's add another one on this side. Okay. Just add a little bit of glue. I'm going to add one more piece right in between his legs. We got a little gap. So look at that, our 6 pieces of each color worked out perfect. Just add a little bit of glue. A little bit of glue right there. Perfect. Okay, like it. Okay, so next we are going to add a little bit of ribbon. I don't think I'm going to add a bow on this design. I know that's a shocker because I usually add a bow on everything, but I think this one we're just going to do some tails. And then we're going to have lots of just flowers. It's going to be like he's jumping into a little wildflower patch. So I'm going to take and use this gorgeous, I've been dying to use this since I got it in, which I just got it in, so it's only been a few days, but I've been really wanting to use this. This is a new ribbon from Bam Wreaths. I bought this from her shop. It is a Ferris silk. It is so pretty. So we're going to be using this pink and white, and then I'm just using a solid black scalloped edge. So we've got a 2.5 and then we've got the 1.5. So those are the 2 ribbons that I'm going to be using. And I'm just going to start down here at the bottom. And I just put my ribbon on top of one another. And I'm just going to push it down in there. Figure out how long I want it and just cut. Okay, and then I'm going to, let's see, I'm not going to dovetail this pink one just because of the way the lace is, but we'll go ahead and dovetail that black one. So I'm just kind of tucking that pink. I'm just rolling it underneath. Going to go around the sides. Let's add one right in here. I'm just going to roll the white underneath. And then give the black a dovetail. Ooh, I just love this ribbon. Okay. So we're not going to use very much ribbon in this design, which is good because now I'll have more to use on another project. And you could add a little dab of glue underneath that when you're rolling this white up if you want, just to make sure it doesn't come undone, but it's pretty thick ribbon, so I'm not going to worry about it. And I'm just kind of skipping. I'm trying to go fairly similar distance, but it's not exact. Just kind of eyeball it is how I do it. Once we finish, I'll tell you how many we have. But again, you can add it as much or little as you want. If you wanted to make a bow, you could do a bow. Okay, we've got our ribbon. If we want to add more later, we can, but right now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We did 5 sets of tails. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 sets of tails. So you could add a few more if you wanted, but I'm just going to stop right there. And like I said, if we need to add another one later, we definitely can. Okay, let's set that aside. Let me get a quick drink of water. Okay. Now I think before we start adding our florals, let's add our cute little bunny ears. So we have these cute little bunny ears. And you can do it either way. You could do it like this. You do it like this and then just kind of fold these back, which is what I think I'm going to do. Just so we see just a pop of the black and white. So again, it has these little hooks. I'm going to tuck it down in there and tie it around that frame. And then we'll cut it off in the back like we did I want this one to kind of tuck it in there. So I'm watching how I put it through my mesh. There we go. Just twisting it around that frame. And then we'll clip it. And then I'm going to tuck that into the pine. We can straighten it back up. Okay, now let's get the other one in. So right in that area. Going to go down. Make sure I have this going the right way. There we go. Feeding it through there. There we go. And twisting it around the frame. Now, if you didn't have one of these bunny butt attachments, just think of any plush type bunny, or doesn't even have to be plush, just any bunny, or some big focal point could go right here, and you could follow the same recipe. So it doesn't have to be the bunny butt. All right, so let me fix my ears. Oh, these are so cute. So cute. All right, so we've got our ears in. Now let's start adding our florals. Okay, so we're gonna start with, I think I'm gonna start with this one. So this is what I call 60919's cousin or sister. It's my supplier's version of it, and we've got it in several different colors, but I'm going to use the white. And I'm going to cut this down, and I just split it up into 3 different pieces. And then we're just going to take and start kind of fluffing it out. These little twigs you can twist to make little curly cues. We may fix it once we get it in there, but we're just going to start adding these. And I'm going to go in through the mesh, touching those pine ties, okay? So let me dip it in my glue pot. And I'm just going to place it right in there. You can also take some of the pine ties and just kind of twist around the stem, but it's not going to go anywhere. Okay. So we've got that one in. Now I'm just going to continue to go around. I'm going more towards the inside, like closer to his little bum here is where I'm placing these. We're going to be adding some other stuff more on the outside. These are going closer to his bum. That glue is also kind of sticking to the fur, so that's going to help hold those sprays in. Okay. Let's take another piece. kind of fluff it up, give it some movement. We're going to tuck this one in right in there. Perfect. Let me trim this little, got a little piece that's kind of hanging. There we go. Just dipping it in my glue pot, and we're just going to tuck that right down there in that pine. I'm going to add just a tiny little bit more glue, and it's going to help stick to his little rump. Okay. So we've used one bush so far, gave us 3 pieces. We're going to use another bush, 3 pieces. And then I still have another one that we'll use maybe later as filler. But let's start with 2 bushes. Okay, so we did 1, 2, 3. So now let's take, and this is the one that has, this little piece is the one that has these little sprigs that you can kind of curl. So I don't want to put them right next to each other. So I'm going to start with this one again. I started with it here. I'm going to start with it over here. Just going to tuck it right up in there, right next to his little bum. And then we can just kind of manipulate these. Again, you can use your fingers and kind of twist them. You can also take a glue stick, and you can wrap it around a glue stick and give it little curls. You can do it tighter, looser, however you want. Okay. Take our next piece, cut this down just a little bit. Fluff it out. And it's going to go right in here. And this is going to be a real whimsical design, so you're going to have these little, like, jumping out at you, like he just jumped right into a grassy wildflower patch. Okay, our last one, let me just cut that down a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna put this one in first and then we'll fluff it out. Ooh, I love it, I love it, I love it. So this is what we have so far. We have 2 bushels all the way around. Now that was very close to his bottom. So the next spray we're gonna add, it's gonna be more towards the center, okay? So we're kind of working in layers. I'm trying to see which one I wanna use. Let's use some of this. This is a pink Eva bush. So I'm gonna pull these apart. Let's see how many we get out of it. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, we got 5 pieces. Okay, so now this is gonna go, I'm gonna go in between. So we have one of the 60919s, one right here. I'm gonna go right in between, but more in the center with this pink Eva. And again, I'm touching that pine tie in the mesh. Okay, so we've got the one right here. I'm gonna go in between. I cut this down just a little bit. I want them long, like sticking out, but not like having its own party like way over here. So just gonna trim it down a little bit, but we're gonna go right in the center. And I just got the glue on my ribbon. So I'm just gonna cut that. There we go. Okay. Again, right in the middle of these two. I'm gonna add that one. I'm gonna cut it down just a little bit. Okay. Let's go right in the middle here. I'm gonna cut it down just a tiny bit. Okay, we need one more piece. So let me grab another one. And I'm gonna get one more piece off of it, and then we'll have the rest if we need to later. But I just went in between each one of those bushes, so I need one more to go right in here. Perfect. I'm gonna add just a tiny bit of glue on that one. I didn't like the way that one connected, so perfect. Okay, so let's put this aside. We've got it for later if we need it. So we've now got sort of layers. We've got the white bush that we did really close to his bum here. We went in with the pink Eva bush, every other one, more towards the center. Now we're gonna add more towards the bottom. So we're just kind of working in layers. And I brought this really pretty pink bush. I'm gonna cut it apart. See how many pieces we get. I think we're gonna get 5 out of it too. Yeah. So we get 5 little sections out of this. So we're gonna start. I'm gonna go more towards the bottom and tucking it up underneath that pine. And then we'll kind of spread it out. Now if it looks like it's too long, which this one, I don't like how it's hanging out. It's a little too long. So I'm gonna take this piece off. I'm gonna cut this down a little bit more, and then I'm gonna put it in. So I was able to pull that out while the glue was still hot. I'm gonna go right back in there. Yeah, that's better. So we're sticking out a little bit, but we're not having like our own little party over there. Okay, so I'm gonna cut this one down. And we're going more towards the bottom. And I'm just filling in some holes where I see the pine. And we got all different fun textures with this little bush, so it's fun. Okay. Let's go right in here. Okay, this one you can tell it's going to be really long, so I'm going to cut it down. I'm still going towards the bottom, finding the pine that's at the bottom. Cut this piece down. Okay, cut this. cut up another one. So we're going to use, so far, 2 of these. We may use a third, but for sure 2. So I'm just pulling these apart. You can cut them if you prefer to cut them, but I'm just pulling them. Okay, and we're going to cut it down. So it's about this tall. And I'm just going around the bottoms. Cut this one shorter. Now this is the one we pulled, this is the one we pulled apart earlier so that we can make it shorter because this piece is kind of long. This is so pretty. Okay. I love it already. I'm not even done yet. We're going to add some of, I think we're going to add some of this, so we're going around the bottom, but I think we're going to add some kind of towards the, closer to the top as well. But let's get all the way around the bottom first. Cut this one down. We're almost back to where we started here. Okay, so we've gone all the way around now towards the bottom. Those all glued in. Good. Now I'm going to take this, so I brought 3 of these. I'm going to take this last one. Let's tear it apart. You know, this one we can tear apart twice. Okay. And now I'm going to go and just kind of tuck some of these up more towards the bunny, more in the middle, so that we can bring in some of this towards the middle there. Now we're going to have to space these a little bit further apart than what we did originally because we've only got a few pieces. I feel like I'm going to put this one right in here. Let's cut it down just a hair. So we'll bring in some of that pink towards the top as well. Just kind of spacing these a little bit further apart because we've only got a few pieces. And they're sticking kind of up and out. They're not flat. I'm not leaving them flat. So they're really giving movement. And I'm just kind of finding spots where I can still see a little bit of the green. And we're just adding this in. So we're on our last piece. Let's add it right in here. There we go. Ah, so pretty. I just love it. Super fun and airy and whimsical. Okay, Now I brought in a couple greeneries to add, sort of give it the look of the grass. So we're gonna start with this one. I always think these kind of look like little carrot leaves. So I'm just gonna use, I only brought one bush. So we're just gonna use one. And we're gonna cut them into smaller sections. And I'll explain why in a second. Okay. So I'm gonna cut this down a little bit, and here's the reason. This is fairly long, and I don't want it sticking like way out here, right? So I'm gonna go into little smaller sections. So it'll tuck nicely up in there. We're just gonna start looking for places where we still see some of that artificial pine. And I'm just gonna tuck them in there. I'm just cutting these up into smaller little pieces. And this one I'm actually pulled 2 leaves off, so I have a little bit of a stem to add glue on. And I'm just finding those spots where I see the pine ties and just placing it in there. Now we only have one, so I'm kind of being mindful of not trying to put them too close together, so we have enough to go all the way around. So by the time we get done adding all this greenery and the florals, you are not going to see that artificial pine. You would never know that it was the artificial pine wreath base. Unless you just really look. I mean, there may be a few little pines that kind of are in there, but it's not going to be super noticeable. Let's just put it that way. You have to get right up on it. Now that one I left a little longer because I kind of went way up underneath his ear. So that one I left a little longer. I'm going to pick a couple of these little leaves so I have a stem to put some glue on. Same thing with this one. Go right in there. I'm still just looking for places where I can see the pine. So it doesn't really matter if it's more towards the center, towards the bottom, just wherever I see some of that artificial pine, I am placing some of these leaves. We are almost back to where we started. So we'll see how many pieces we have left. Okay, so we're back to where we started. We've got just a couple. So let's just go ahead and use them. Let's just find some places to use them. Now that we know we've at least gone all the way around, can maybe tuck a couple in closer towards the bunny. So I'm gonna go more towards his little rump here. Let's do one right over here. Right down in there. There we go. So cute. Okay. Now I brought in another greenery bush. We're going to do the same thing. I'm going to cut it up. And we're just going to use its little leaves. This is just going to give us another texture, another color of greenery. Let's start with one, see if we want to use the other one. And I'm still just looking for spots where our artificial pine is. There's a section right here. I see a section right here. Just going all the way around. This one is hitting something, so I'm going to put it in there, and then I'm going to add my glue with my glue gun. There we go. I have a spider web of glue strings. Okay, let's keep going. Again, I'm just looking for spots where we might have some holes or greenery showing. So I'm going to use 2 of these. This is a fern bush. I don't remember the exact name of it, but I will link the supplies in the description of our YouTube post. If you're watching on Facebook, check out our YouTube channel at TCT Crafts, and you will see the description that has all of our supplies that we used. Okay, we are almost done with this bush or stem. Just gonna go all the way around, and then we'll use a couple pieces towards the center if we need to. I'm making sure that I lift up some of that mesh too to kind of get in there so that it looks like it's all like growing together. Okay, we're back around. We've got 2 little pieces. So maybe one right up here. Okay, and let's do one on the other side. Like right in there. Okay. So pretty. I just love it. Okay, I have one more greenery bush that we can add as little filler. We'll do that in a second. But I also brought a couple little Easter eggs. We're not going to add many. We're just going to add 3, 4, 5, maybe 5 of them. Maybe 6. Let's just use it. So I got white and pink. And I'm going to cut the little ribbon part off of there. The little hanger part. I don't need the hanger. I also brought some roses. We may add some of those. Let's see after we get the eggs if we still want the roses in there. You can definitely stop at this point. It is super pretty already. Okay, now let's tuck in some eggs. Let's do one kind of right up here. Right there. Let's add one. Let's see. Yeah, let's add one right in there. Let's do one right back in here. Just adding lots of glue to those eggs. Let's do one. I like that spot right there. We've got a little bit of a hole we can fill in. One right up in there. Let me see. Now let's put it down there. Okay, we got one pink one. See where I want it. I think we need one down in this area. Okay, so we've got our little eggs tucked in there. Now let me see if I want to add our pink roses. So I brought in a couple of these. Let me just do a dry run here. Yeah, let's tuck in. Those are kind of cute. So let's tuck in some of these little pink roses. Kind of following a triangle pattern here. Let's get this one up top. Okay. And we have a couple of these little buds. So let me snip these off. I think I'm going to save this for another project just because I like kind of the even placement just with that little triangle right there. So I'm going to save that. But we've got some of these the little buds that we can tuck in here and there. Just going to go around. We've got, what, 4 of them? Okay, so we put one there. Let's go up in this area. Go down. Let's go over here. We've got one more. Now let's put it up under there. So cute. I love it. Love, love, love this design. Okay, so the last thing we have, which I don't even know if we need, as I brought in some of these little pusher bushes so that we could tuck in to any little places where we see holes. I may go ahead and just do a few just because I like the way it adds a little bit of that different color and texture in there. So I'm going to push these up. These are pushers. This is a maidenhair fern bush. We have them in regular green or a dusty green. This is just the regular green. So I'm just going to go around again, look for any holes, any places that might need a little touch of this. And these are good to add when you get it hung up as well, so that you can see if there's any little spots that need a little something something. Let's do right there. I'm going to add a little piece up underneath his leg here. You kind of want to watch what you place. You don't want to make it look inappropriate, so we'll just put a little bit of grass there. We don't want to add no eggs there. Going up underneath that rose, adding a little bit there. Let's get another one. Okay, I see a spot right there. Okay, we've gone all the way around with it. Let me just look up close to, I think I want to put one right in here. Maybe just a few closer to the bunny. Let's do one on this side. Love it. Love it, love it. Okay, we got one more piece, so we need to use it. Let's find a spot. Right here, I see a spot. There we go. There we go. There is our beautiful pink spring Easter bunny butt wreath. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Until next time, bye guys.